You probably clicked into this video because you've just bought a flight with like Spirit or Frontier and you're trying to figure out how in the world you are going to pack for your trip using just a personal item. And trust me, I've been there. I took my first flight last year where I could only bring a personal item, and truly I did not think it was possible before I did that flight. I have always been someone who takes a backpack and a carry-on, and so I thought, how in the world am I going to fit everything I need into one backpack? But the good news is it is totally possible. You just need a couple tricks, a couple strategies, maybe some special products to make it happen, but it is definitely doable. So in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I plan and pack for 5 or more days using just a personal item sized backpack. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm gonna break this up into a couple sections, but the first thing I wanna talk about is the backpack, because the biggest mistake and the real reason why I thought it wouldn't be possible is because all of my backpacks were too small. So what I ended up doing and what worked best is I went to Amazon and I specifically got a backpack that fit the personal item allowance. Honestly, this holds so much more stuff than my old backpack, and this is the biggest reason that I'm able to travel with just a personal item. There's about 1,000,001 different ones that are viral that you can find on Amazon. Personally, this is the one I got, but I also got this one recently as well. They're all great. Just look at what kind of pockets you want on the front and pick one that you think will be best for you. I have the large size for both of these, and they fit in the sizer thing by the check-in gate for both Spirit and Frontier, so you don't need to worry about that. But what really makes the big difference about this is you're able to open these flat, fit all of your stuff in there just like a normal suitcase. So it's kind of like a suitcase that you can carry on your back through the airport rather than dragging around. Another thing that has been immensely helpful and that I just really resisted for the longest time was compression packing cubes. So when you're traveling with just a backpack or a personal item, you really don't have a ton of space. So by using packing cubes, it keeps all of your clothes organized so that they're not mixing up with your other stuff. And by getting compression ones, you're able to squish it down so it really takes the least amount of space. And I'm able to fit a lot in these. Let me show you how I pack the cube. I always use the medium one. However, if you do want more space for clothes, the large one does fit in the backpack. It just fills up the entire thing. And I like to put my toiletries at the top, so I actually prefer the medium-sized cube. I can fit about 5 days of clothing into this, and the easiest way to make that work for longer trips is to just do laundry at the end. I know this could mean staying in an Airbnb with a washer or dryer, or just going to a laundromat. We did that at the end of our trip in Thailand, and it wasn't a problem at all. Now, the trick to making the most of the space in your packing cube is to fold your clothes to the size of it. And I actually learned this on one of my favorite accounts on TikTok. I will typically wear any of my bulkier items and shoes on the plane and then just fit everything else into my packing cube. I'm gonna be honest, I live in workout dresses, so I will usually pack enough for 3 to 5 days. So that means 3 workout dresses, a set of pajamas, some shorts, and usually 2 tops. But if you want the most versatility, you should pack separates that work together, so then you can take those, mix and match, and create multiple different outfits. Also, when it comes to socks, unfold them and lay them flat so that they take up less space in your packing cube. Beyond that, what's going to take up the most space is your toiletries. And I uploaded this video recently showing how to make your toiletries fit in just a carry-on, but I saw that a lot of people are just buying the travel size toiletries and trying to fit all of those, which is great, but those are the maximum allowance for each liquid. So let's say each liquid you can only have 100 milliliters. If you get the travel size, it's going to be very close to that 3 ounces or 100 milliliters. But the reality is, unless you're going on a month's long trip, you probably don't need that much of every single product, maybe some of them, but not all of them. So what I suggest is getting smaller travel size containers. I got these ones from Muji when I went to Thailand last year, and I really like these, but you just wanna look for containers that are less than 3 ounces or little tiny pots. If you're really unsure about how much you're gonna use, go ahead and fill up that travel container and then actually use it for the duration of your trip. You know what I mean? So let's say you're going on a 2-week trip. 2 weeks before that, fill up those travel containers and see how much of that product you actually use in that 2-week time. And I think you'll be surprised by how little of each thing you need. And so that really validates putting stuff into smaller containers. And then you can bring a much greater variety of toiletries, but still fit it within your quart-sized bag. If you're someone who likes a lot of makeup, I also suggest taking your powdered makeup and putting them into a magnetic palette. So you're just taking the specific eyeshadows or the blushes or things that you're going to use during your trip and not an entire palette. That's also going to save you a lot of space and something that I'm planning to do for future trips. Also, another thing I do to save space in my toiletries is for my razor. I use those razors that have the built-in like shave gel sort of, so I don't have to bring shave gel. I try to also use the shampoo and conditioner that are at the hotel. Obviously, I have super straight hair. It's not that big of a deal. If you're someone who does have, has a lot of skincare or does have hair that needs specific products, definitely just figure out how much you use and put them into the appropriately sized container. Don't bring more than you actually have to and take up unnecessary space. Next, let's talk about tech. This was the hardest thing for me to pare down because when I used to pack, I would put all of my clothes in my rolling carry-on, and then I would use my backpack to carry all of my gear, my camera, my lenses, my tripod, all of that. But when I moved to doing personal item only, I had to cut back on that a lot. So now I can typically bring maybe 2 tripods, like a Gorilla Pod, and then a very compact full-size tripod, but I'm not usually bringing my full-size camera unless I have a very, very small lens on it. So you can bring more stuff by packing less clothes or, making allocations in other spaces. But for me, I definitely am always able to bring my laptop, my hard drives, and then what I bring for filming is really just gonna depend. Honestly, I end up using just my iPhone a lot of the time. If you're not a content creator, what you might find that you're struggling with in regards to tech is all of your cords and your cables and your plugins. So what I would suggest for that is to get like a little power hub or a power strip that can plug multiple items into it. So what I use has a spot for 2 cords. So typically I'll bring a USB-C cord and I'll bring my lightning cable. My lightning cable can charge my phone or my iPad, and then I use the USB-C to charge pretty much everything else. But by having just one block, that's taking up the most amount of space, and then I can really bring as many cables or as many cords as I want. They do also make cords that do multiple ports and different things, so you can really mix and match, and if you wanted to, maybe bring only like 2 cords. That's totally an option too. And then my final trick that I use for quick access to my stuff while I'm traveling is I have one of those really small, it's a Lululemon fanny pack dupe. I got it on Amazon. It was only like $10 or something. I use it all the time, but that is what I actually wrap across my torso while I have my backpack on. And I don't keep very much in it. It's very small. Honestly, if they give you trouble, you could fit it under a shirt or fit it under a jacket and no one would know. Or if you pack really well, I can still fit it into my actual personal item too. But what I keep in there is like my wallet, some chapstick, my mini phone tripod. I'm like obsessed with this thing. My sunglasses, sometimes my Kindle, hand sanitizer, just really things that I'll need quick access to, my passport, my license, things like that I'll need quick access to while I'm actually moving about in the airport. Everything else goes into my personal item, and I don't typically open or fiddle with it very much. I hope this was an incredibly helpful video for you guys. If you have any questions, please make sure to put them in the comments. I'm always responding to comments and answering any questions you have. And let me know if you'd like me to review any specific personal item size travel backpacks. I have these 2 that I've used already, but I just got another one from BagSmart that's going super viral on TikTok. So if you want a video for that or one comparing them, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.